What's up guys, I'm Malena, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm gonna make some more soap. Yes, I love making my cold process soap. And you guys seem to really enjoy this type of video. Going back and looking at my previous videos, the soap making videos did very well. I am going to continue to put out some more soap making videos for you guys. Well, today I've decided I want to make a what better chocolate. I love chocolate, you know I like my sweets. Oh yeah, so we're gonna make a dark chocolate orange soap, and the fragrance is from Brambleberry. It's always kind of up in the air, not knowing how these fragrances are gonna act. Today we're gonna find out. Let's hope all goes well and we have no issues and it turns out to be a beautiful, perfect soap. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Kind of wipe everything down before I get started, and I'm just using 91% alcohol and just get that pretty much cleared off so that way we have a nice little cleaning station to work on. All right, so I like to draw everything out beforehand just to kind of give me an idea as to how it's going to look in the end. Here is our loaf of soap, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a chocolate base, and then we're gonna do a separate batter and make it orange, and we're gonna leave out the fragrance in that orange so we can make a swirl. That way it doesn't discolor to the brown that this fragrance oil is going to do to this soap. And then on top, I'm going to make a white frosting. So I'm going to pipe the top of it with a white frosting, and then we're gonna add the chocolate bars and also the orange slices. And then I'm probably, depending on how it looks, I may add a drizzle mica to the top of that. So we'll figure out if that's something we want to do, if we need to add a little bit to it, maybe even some fairy dust glitter to make it really pretty. So anyway, this is kind of what I do. It gives you an idea as to how I come up with this stuff. Okay, to make this easy, I'm going to start with my embeds. I'm going to make some little chocolate squares, and then I'm going to use some oranges. This is the mold that I'm going to be using today, and this is by Nurture Soap. I believe this is a 5-pound mold. I'm going to use a couple little chunks. I just want about just enough to fill up just this one mold, because we're going to make about 10 orange slices for the top. I'm going to add some of this orange to color it, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple little drops just to start off with. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this fragrance oil to it. Oh, it smells delicious. Yeah, I like that. So normally with soap making, if you're going to be using embeds in your soap, I always would recommend starting off with, you know, doing your embeds first. That way you'll have them, they're ready. And then I'm going to set these aside. You can stick them in the fridge if you want, just to speed up the process. So I'm going to take this and go ahead and just pour these into the mold. And I'll set those aside, and here are our orange slices. These turned out pretty good. So that's exactly what I'm looking for right there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out all of my butters and my oils, and today I'm using cocoa butter. So it's a refined cocoa butter. This is from Crafter's Choice. Most of the stuff I get from Wholesale Supplies Plus. So we're using cocoa butter, we're using shea butter, a little bit of shea butter, we're using coconut oil, we're using the castor oil, olive oil, and I love using hemp seed. So I think we're gonna use some of this hemp seed oil as well today in this recipe. Like I said, I hope it goes well, because otherwise you feel like you just wasted all of these really good ingredients, and it's not cheap. So I've got all my lye in here, and then here is our distilled water. So I'm gonna go and mix these two together. I always mix the lye, pour the lye into the water, never ever pour the water into the lye. I'm gonna take this outside, it's a little bit breezy out there, and just let this dissolve for a few minutes. And then while that is outside sitting, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and start melting these oils down, because I mean, a lot of times people will just pour the lye water directly into the oils and melt it that way. I feel like it just takes longer, so I try and speed up the process by melting these just for a few minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain my lye water into my oils. Same thing, you don't wanna pour the oil into the lye water, you wanna pour the lye into your oils. And then I always make sure I have my mold close by and then my mixer here. So I've got my little stick blender. I've had that thing for years. It's been awesome. It's worked very well, and I think I got it at Walmart, geez, back in like 2009. 2010 is since the beginning of time. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and use my stick blender. All right, so I'm gonna separate these two, actually three out. So I've got this one here that's got mica in it. It's the orange mica. And then I'm gonna have this one here, and I'm gonna put titanium dioxide in that one. So let's go ahead and pour the orange first. And then here we're going to pour in the white for the titanium dioxide. And I've got my titanium dioxide already mixed up, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in here, and then I'm going to mix this one up by hand. And remember, these two, you do not want to add any of the fragrance oil to them, because we just don't know how it's going to act and if it's going to discolor or not. So here's the orange, and that's what we're going to use to swirl through the chocolate. You guys, I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and mix in this one, the white, for our frosting. Now for this one. So I'm going to let this one sit to the side, and hopefully this one will set up pretty quick. Not sure how fast it's going to set up, but we want this one to be thick so we can make frosting with it. And then we'll go ahead and bring this guy over here. Make sure our mold is pretty close, because we don't know how this is going to act. And we also have our orange sitting over here to the side so we can make swirls with it. All right, now let's go ahead and get this bad boy ready. And I'm not going to add brown to this because it says it discolors. So we're just going to expect that it turns out right. So far so good. It's not seizing up on me yet, so that's a good sign, and it smells really good. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour this into the mold, and then I'll just swirl in the orange with it. And then we're going to add our orange swirl. You guys, I'm nervous. I'm hoping this turns out. I really do. I want it to turn out. I want it to look good. That's the thing with soap making. You just never know how it's going to turn out. And then we're just going to let this sit, and we'll come back in with the white and start piping that one. All right, we're not quite there yet. We still want this to be a little bit thicker. So we're just going to let that sit a little bit longer. And then over here, I've got my piping bag set up, so I'm ready to go. As soon as this sets up a little bit more, I can pour that right in the piping bag and go ahead and start piping our soap. All right, so this is looking like it's pretty solid. This one here, we are almost ready. So this took about an hour for this stuff to get to this thick consistency. I want it just a little bit thicker because I want to be able to pipe it and it hold its form and not sink. So we're almost to that point, and then I'll fill up the piping bag and go ahead and start piping. All right, I've got everything in my piping bag right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and start piping this. I almost feel like it's still not ready enough, but I'm tired of waiting. So let's go ahead and just get this first layer down and see how it looks. Yeah, see, it's still a little too soft, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and get this first layer down. And I think as we get closer to the end of the bag, it'll start to harden up a little bit more. See how it's starting to look a little bit better. And I'm just gonna take this and I'm going to just keep building up on this white frosting layer. Yeah, nice of my husband to come barging in like a bull in a china shop while I'm recording. Now, if I would have done that to him, oh Lord. Oh, you're gonna, so what I just heard is you're gonna go for a joyride in my hot rod. Okay, here we go. We're gonna add our orange and our chocolate. So for the orange, I'm gonna go ahead and stay right in between the lines. And how do I wanna do this? Like that. And then add a chocolate square right there. I'm just going to add a little bit of chocolate drizzle to the top of the oranges, I think. I hope this turns out. And then I'm going to take some Mad Mica Fairy Dust. This is Sparkle Plenty. And I'm just going to spray this right on top. Well, I am absolutely happy with the way this turned out. It's beautiful, and let's just hope tomorrow when we cut into this, it's just as gorgeous on the inside as it is on the outside. Okay, so here it is the next day. I came back and I noticed this mold. I've never had problems with this mold before until today, and I noticed that some of the soap on the inside stuck to the side. So either it was the recipe, which I've used the same recipe for several years, or this mold's just getting old. I don't know. But anyway, I hope the whole thing doesn't turn out bad. But we're going to try and get this out of this mold. And I mean, I put sodium lactate in here to make this soap even harder, and it's still really soft. Make it slowly. Well, didn't want that to happen. So there you have it, folks. Soap gone wrong. Not impressed. I don't know what happened with this. But yeah, it just did not work out the way I wanted it to. And it may be the fragrance oil. I mean, I have no idea. I've never ever experienced this. This is awful. Look at all that soap wasted. I mean, the whole thing. I probably can't even save it. Anyway, I'm gonna let it sit. It's so weird because the top part, that one did. Just this didn't. I might be able to get a couple slices out of the center, but that's about it. Now the question is this going to cut in my soap cutter? I mean, I think this bar is going to be so tall that it may hit, but we'll find out. Here we go. All right, so I hope this works out. It's very, very close that it may hit the oranges, but it's the only way I really can do this. So I'm lining it up to make sure that we get each piece where they have an orange and a chocolate slice, and we're not cutting any of those, and we're going to make sure we cut these ends off because we're not going to be using those. All right, let's do this. So far, so good. Wow. Okay, so that worked out. So get rid of that guy. Let's see what these insides look like. So these are going to take a couple weeks to cure as they're pretty soft. So I'm going to have to really clean these guys up. But you can tell, like, the inside, there's a little bit of a swirl in there. That orange did fade. So all in all, I'm not impressed with this fragrance. It did not hold up in this soap. Everything else looks good except for that bottom part. The swirls, if they showed up a little bit more, they would really look nice. All right, so unfortunately, things don't always go as planned. Now, if you guys know soap, for those of you soap makers out there, you know what I'm talking about. For you newbies, I don't want you guys to get discouraged. This doesn't happen all the time. You know, it's gonna happen a number of times throughout the years of making soap. It's just something that happens. You don't know what these fragrance oils are gonna do. And in this case, this one didn't behave very nicely. But anyway, at least we got a couple bars of soap out of this batch. And to be honest, I'm probably just going to list those up at a discounted rate. So if you guys are interested in purchasing these bars, they will be ready in a few weeks. I give it kind of like about 4 weeks. I will send out, you know, a notification on, you know, Instagram. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you guys can go over there and follow me, and then go to my website, malenascreations.com. And if you guys go ahead and subscribe on there, I will send out random emails letting you guys know of new products that come out, sales that I have. So if you guys are interested in that type of stuff, you might want to go ahead over there and do that right now. But anyway, if there's anything else that you guys want to see, let me know in the comments below. And, you know, I'll see what I can come up with. So thanks for watching, you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more. I'll see you in the next one.